Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the stream. What's going on? This is 2 days in a row. We're back live again this evening, and we're back in Automobilista 2. As mentioned yesterday in our stream, we had everything scheduled to go. We were running Race 07, the old Super Touring mod, and then half an hour beforehand, AMS2 update drops, and we have the Corvette release. So here we are. We're in Automobilista 2, and we're going to check out some Corvettes. So, gonna try and see what we're up against here with these new cars. There's a couple of variations of the Corvette that we're going to take a look into, and as well as giving our online review, our live review if you like, we're also going to put it to the test. So we're going to put it up against the other cars in the classes that they sit in, and we're going to do a little bit of a shootout to see just how well they stack up in terms of performance against the other ones and which car is quickest in each class. So you can do your research right here and find out which car to go with. So let's jump into the sim, and here we are. We're ready to go, and let me just get myself in here now. So here we are. So, oops. So why is it showing me the stock cars? I don't want the stock cars. I want the Corvettes. Come back. So they sit in two different categories, and they have actually seemed to have disappeared for some reason. Where have they gone? It's reordered it for me. Ah, here they are, sat in the middle. Right, so we have the 60s, or the vintage touring cars as it's called on here. Now, when you think of a Corvette, it's not really the first car that comes to mind when you're thinking touring cars. So this is where this one is going to be sitting. This is kind of like a road, more of a stock spec car. So you've got it up against the Mini and the Lotus 23. So it's going to be interesting to see how it fits in this category. Obviously, it's going to have a lot of power. And it's also going to be a lot heavier than the Mini and the Lotus, that's for sure. So it'll be interesting to see whether that balances itself out. I'm hoping that with this combo, we can get some old school touring car feel going on here, where we have the Minis going through the corners really quickly, and then the Mustang, the Corvette flying past them on the straight. So fingers crossed that works. The other Corvette is sat in the GT Classics with the Porsche 911 RSR, which we don't want to select there, and we have the slightly more modified race version of the Corvette C3, so super excited to give that a go as well. So let's have a look at what liveries we have available for the basic standard Corvette C3. So we have a nice yellow and black one by the looks of things, and it's a fairly standard looking paint scheme. The blue one's quite nice there, we have a nice silver one, the red one's good, white, kind of whatever colour you want really, fairly retro and historic looking colours, which is good. GT Classic side of things, we have some slightly more jazzed up liveries by the looks of things. We've got some nice ones in here, bit of an American theme on there, but yeah, all of them look like they could easily sit within a historic race meeting, and you'd find one of these cars racing anywhere in the world. So some cool retro inspired liveries, so looking forward to giving this thing a go. So what we're going to do then, we're going to start off in the street Corvette, and we're going to take it around Silverstone. This is going to be our kind of base track for testing this car out. Now, the thing with this, I've not driven either of these two cars yet. I haven't even driven them for the thumbnail, so you're going to be getting my live reaction as to what I actually think about these the first time I drive them, so this could be interesting. We'll load into Silverstone now and see how we go. But anyway, how is everyone doing? I hope you're all keeping well. I hope you're looking forward to seeing what these Corvettes are like. If you tried them already, which you probably have because it was released yesterday and most people probably jump on it quite quickly, feel free to share your thoughts as well and let us know what you think of these particular cars. And as I said, this is my first time trying these, so it will be interesting to see what happens here. So I'm going to take our time and build up slowly. That sounds rather good, doesn't it? Nice burble turrets. So obviously going to be using the H-pattern gearbox here, even though I suppose this stock version is going to be more, might even be running an auto box, but we're going to use our H-pattern anyway. So quick look around inside the cockpit. There's standard trim going on there. We have door handles on the inside, and all the standard trim, so that's pretty cool. Right. Well, that sounds amazing. So just going to ease ourselves into this a little bit, just to start off, because no point going completely flat out and then just careering off into the barriers and the grass on the outside. Just going to take it nice and easy, get used to the car. Now this is just the basic version. I'm curious to hear what the race-tuned one's going to sound like. Some popping and banging going on. Down into Brooklyn. So a bit of understeer going in there. I said we weren't going to push on too early, but we already made that mistake. Third gear through Luffield is probably not the gear of choice, but it's okay. We'll work around it. Seems to have a fair amount of body roll. Aww. Nothing like a good old school V8 sound. Through Cop's Corner, just feed the power in gently. See the bonnet flexing and rattling as we go over the bumps there. Very cool. This is where we're going to get a good idea of this body roll. Look at that. This big lurch as we go right to left. Okay, now we get to unleash the full power of the V8 and see what kind of speed we can get up to here. It's probably only got 4 gears, I think. Don't think we'll get a 5th gear here. Nope. Let's see if we can get it slowed down, which we just about managed to do for Stowe. Car's moving around quite a lot, because obviously this is going to be running on old style tyres. Probably some cross plies of some sort. Bit of understeer, but then you kind of expect that this isn't going to be the most pointy and poised of cars to drive. That's not what you expect when you jump in this car anyway, so I've been to Abbey for the first time. Very fast right-hander. This car's not wanting to go through there. And the slow stuff is where this car is not going to be at its finest. So you just have to kind of coax it around and try and see if you can get it to do what you want it to do. So we'll start to pick up the pace a little bit now and just see what this is like to drive closer to the limit, and probably, knowing my luck, over the limit. Right, 100 board, get on the brakes quick, because this thing's going to be going at a fair pace into this next left-hander. Back end was trying to come around going into there. Come on, get the rear end round again, but we're just going to get heaps of understeer until we finally get round Luffield. So quite forgiving, I can tell on the tyres. So when it does go sideways, it does actually hold itself there quite nicely. We'll also have a look in the garage as well in a moment, just see if anything what we can change on this particular version of the car. So this is a C3 model Corvette, which is one of my favourite designs of Corvette, actually. It's those lovely raised arches over the front. And the swooping body. Good evening, Gareth. How are we doing? Just busy thrashing some good old school V8s. Let's get it turned in for Stowe. Come on. Give me some front end back. Just pushes on down towards the club chicane. Just playing with the throttle just to try and see if we can actually encourage the front end to do something. We are noticing through there though is the front left tyre is looking not quite up to temperature yet, or is it over temperature? Probably over temperature. Back end trying to come around there. Just go on the grass, no problem. Yeah, we're doing good, thanks guys. Yeah, it's a V8, mate. But not an Aussie V8 this one though. So you can chuck it around. Yeah, so our inside left is getting rather warm. Probably because of all the right-hand corners that we've got to deal with around Silverstone and the chronic understeer we've got to deal with as well. It's just grinding that front left tyre into the tarmac. Take some weight off it for this next one. There we go. Makes it feel a bit better, and then we get into Luffield and we'll just punish it some more. Massive understeer. We can probably change it obviously with any kind of setup if there's something we can do to improve the front end, or just to take some of the grip away from the rear end, because the rear tyres in this car are probably most likely going to be wider than the front, so you're going to get a bit more rear end grip, which of course you kind of need to contain that V8 power going through that axle, but at the same time in the slower speed stuff, when you're trying to get the car to turn, you've got all that grip at the rear and not so much at the front, and it's just not allowing the front end to bite as you would like it to, so we're going to have to play around with that to get it to work. And we're off again. Whoop. Saved it, although our tyre's not looking well. But so far, initial impressions with the standard spec Corvette, not too bad at all. Quite enjoyable to drive, just chucking it around. Obviously probably not the quickest way of doing so, but we'll get ourselves to the end of the lap and then we'll take a look in the garage and just check out the setup options for this car. Let's use the weight transfer to try and encourage the rear end to do what we want it to do. There we go, right. Let's go back to the pit box and have a look and see what we're dealing with in here. So steering lock you can change, brake bias, anti-roll bars you can mess around with. What else can we do? Oh, the rumble in the background is amazing. So what else is there? No, there's a little bit actually. You can change caster angles, camber angles, ride height, spring rates, bump and rebound. So yeah, there's quite a lot you can actually adjust with the car. Some gear ratios as well. It's nice to know. A fuel map. Okay. Not quite sure how that would work, but it's either thirsty or not so thirsty, I suppose, is the the way that works. Okay, so there's some things you can change with that, and we'll have a look at that in due course, I'm sure. So that's the standard version of the Corvette. So let's ramp it up a little bit and let's go and take on the race trim one. So this could be a different animal entirely. So that one we're running 300 brake horsepower and 1.5 tons, which is why it's moving around on the on the way through those changing direction corners. So what are we dealing with here? So yeah, a bit of a difference in power. 540 brake horsepower with the GT Classic spec, and a little bit lighter as well, so shaved off a couple of 100 kilos off there, and nearly as much torque as you have power. So yeah, fun times. Wheel spin-tastic, I think this one's going to be. I'm going to go with this nice looking number 2 livery here. We'll go with Silverstone again, just for a direct comparison. Not that we're looking at lap times there, but more just to get a feel for how the two different cars drive. So again, 4-speed H pattern. So only 4 gears to worry about, which is good. Less things to go wrong. But I'm really curious to see how this one's going to match up with the Porsche 911 RSR as well. So how much of a close race you're going to have between those two. So here we go then. Just about started. Okay, so this one a little bit more focused. As you can see, we have quite a large bulge on the bonnet to look over. We have more of a refined interior, no door cards to look at, a nice tan leather. We have a roll cage and a very industrial wing mirror setup. So here we go. Let's take this beast out on track. Just going to try and be a little bit careful with on the throttle, because not only have we got cold tyres, but I just have the suspicion that this thing is going to bite. Or understeer chronically like the other one, but that's okay. I'll have to go down to first gear for those 2 corners, I reckon, just to get it moving. Stop! Turn! Oh, now it's turning. Okay, this is a very different animal to the 911. Sounds pretty nice. We've got a clutch slip going on there. Turn in for cops, please. It's a C3 Corvette tractor at the moment, just ploughing. Hey Azaris, it bites alright. Okay. We'll discover that I'm sure at some point. Like that. Just doing a bit of a loop around the DRS sign, that's all. Just extending the track a little bit because this thing's got so much power. Okay, so this is a little bit more feisty. As expected, to be honest. Sounds brutal enough. Ooh, we get on those curbs, it doesn't like it. Big popping and banging on the overrun. Yeah, a bit more of a handful. I was expecting a fair amount of arm waving, trying to keep this thing in check. Stop just a bit. Not the smoothest technique, but a whole lot of fun nonetheless. Flat out down the Wellington Straight. Just gotta wait for it to get its grip before it loses it in spectacular fashion. Even on woodcut it's trying to get away from me on the rear. Just see what this thing's like in the wet as well. Just don't even touch the throttle, don't even breathe on it. So significantly less body roll, obviously, as you'd expect, being a more tuned version of the Corvette. But that does make it a little bit more leery because you don't have that mechanical grip as the weight shifts between tyres. Hello, welcome. Definitely a unique driving style to this piece. You're not wrong. it does take a little bit of manhandling to get it to do what you want. But great fun though, nonetheless. I do enjoy trying to balance these things. Now the Porsche as well has had an update in this latest version of the game. They've changed the tyre slip angles, I think. So we're gonna have a play with that and just see how that's changed. Thanks, Gary. Okay, now we're cooking. Get it turned in. There we go. We got through the complex a little nicer that time. It's probably not quick, but I don't really mind. Plenty of curb on the way in. Going to take every possible advantage we can get to get this car turned in. Going to leave it in second. Still the torque gets you. I'm obviously changing gears far too quickly than it would like. Let's try and see if we can get out of Maggots and Beckett's without doing a loop around the DRS board. Such a good combination of corners. It really does test the abilities of a car going through there. Well, we managed to get it on the right bit of tarmac, but not particularly under control. And then we just completely missed our breaking point for Stowe. Okay, so let's go back to the garage and take a quick look at the setup options for the race version of the Corvette. Fairly similar offerings, just with a bump stop option. Yeah, pretty much exactly the same as what you get with the standard one. So, try a bit of Scandi flick to get it rotated. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to with this thing. Okay, that's very cool. So what we're going to do next is we're going to jump into some racing action and see how they behave together on track. We'll start off with the stock version or the standard type version first, with the minis and things, and see how that goes, and then we'll do the race version, and then following that we'll do a shootout on a particular circuit and just see what kind of lap times we get with each of the cars in the class, and then see how they correspond with the Corvette on that particular pack. So we've tried the yellow one, so we're going to go with I don't know, this I reckon that blue one's rather nice, so I'm going to go with that. Oops, we're on test day. We're not going to get any racing going on there, are we? Right, let's go back here. Vintage touring cars, Corvette. So let's do, American car. Let's go to America, shall we? Let's do a Laguna Seca, shall we? I'm not going to have any practice. We're just literally going to jump straight into a race with these cars. 5 laps should be sufficient. I don't dare change the weather settings just yet. We'll deal with it. Right. Same class we want. And load in. So, trying to get this thing moving around Laguna Seca then. The corkscrew is going to be interesting because obviously you've got the slow corners which you've got to try and get the car turned into, but then also there's the sudden drop off the edge of the hill, or when I say hill I mean the earth, and that's just going to upset it even more. So we'll see what happens when it goes over there. It might just cry at me and say, no, please don't make me do that. But we'll see. We will see. Right, so should be random grid here, so we're going to be starting at P11. We have minis and Lotus 23s on the grid. So I'm curious to see how this goes. So Laguna Seca, it's a bit of a mixture. You've got some quite quick sections where the Corvette will obviously power off down the straights, but through some of the tighter sections, I would really like the Mini to come into its own. But let's see how it goes. The Lotus is so tiny in comparison. Awful start. Have to dip the clutch and we're away. Nowhere to go. Everyone's going to block me into turn 1. Let's just hold station here. Let's see how we get on. Everyone's getting a bit close up front there. Let's get on the inside of this Mini. Whoop, there's the sausage curb. Don't want to hit that. Oh, track limits. Go that way, I'll go this way. We'll just sandwich the little Mini, poor thing. Well, so far, I know I took that corner in the wrong gear, but careful. It's an aggressive move. So far it's Corvettes all the way, and then the Minis and everything else is falling back. Oh, I think we went side by side, do you reckon? Alright, there's all the Minis. The Lotus. Let's try and recover. So what I'm seeing so far is the Minis just, even in the corners, don't have an answer for the Corvette. Oops, sorry, let me just squash the Lotus. So either we're going to have to turn the there's a gap that was closing. Turn the AI strength up. Okay, sort yourselves out, guys, please. Let's go around this way if you don't mind. There's no room. It's just unfair, isn't it? Just absolutely power past these poor little A-series engines in the Minis. So yes, what I was saying, we might have to turn up the AI strength considerably to actually give them half a chance. Either that, or the Corvette is just so ridiculously OP that this class essentially will turn into a one-make championship online. So if anyone was running these particular cars on an online basis, no one's going to run the Mini or the Lotus if they can't get anywhere near the Corvettes. So what I don't know is whether it's going to be a temporary basis running this car in this class. I'm going to put it in there just so it's got at least something to play with for the time being until anything else were to come along. It's backing it into the penultimate corner there. So whether it's going to then change class if anything else is added to the title which is more on par with this particular type of car, because as we said at the start of the stream, these cars don't normally go together. You don't normally find Corvettes and Minis in the same class. You find Mustangs and Minis in the same class, but it is significantly different to a honking great GT Corvette. Of course, it also requires a driver who can keep it on the track in order for it to be successful. We'll do a safe rejoin. We'll spare all these people in front of us here. Thank you. Alright, can I go now? There we go. Okay. Yeah, so we might have to... Yeah, simracing arms. Yeah, you're probably right. We might have to try something a little twistier just to try and see if the the Mini has a fighting chance. If anything, it actually feels nicer to drive around here than it did at Silverstone. It feels a little bit more enthusiastic on the front end, so it actually kind of wants to turn into the corners a little bit more easily, should I say. Okay, just use our power advantage up the hill. There we go. There's the corkscrew issue I was talking about. The Mini is a big fat four-door saloon car, of course it can't beat a vet. Yes, this is very true. I wouldn't exactly call it fat, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Well, currently one from last, but that's not a fair indication of how quick this car is compared to the Minis and the Lotus. I'm also losing rear tyres at a rapid rate of knots because of all my spinning. But this is only a 4-lap race, so I can imagine these tyres aren't going to last particularly long in anything longer than a 5-lap race. You just have to look after them rather than hooning them like I am. Sure, I passed you lot once. Yep, cooked rears, definitely. Too enthusiastic with the right foot. Goes nicely there, just kind of double brakes and the rear end starts to have a little bit of a wobble, but you can control it and just guide it into the fast uphill left, one of the hardest corners on the circuit. Wild, but all survived in one piece. Okay, so that's good. The Mini was at least able to keep with me through the corner there. And then we just wave goodbye to him on the straight. Not the nicest way around turn 1. Yeah, you're right, aren't you? The V8 sounds so good. Just purring its way around the circuit. Welcome as well, by the way, Varieg Ace. It's good to have you with us. Now, what's going on here? There's just cars everywhere. Power. How many of these can we clear? Most of them. Such a mixture of cars, isn't it? I mean, you've got a little saloon car, you have an actual sports car, and then this GT cruising car, all thrown together. I hope that they can have a good race together. I mean, the Mini and the Lotus can race together quite nicely, but around Laguna Seca at least, the Corvette is just a little too good. Well, Still got beaten by minis, but that's purely my own fault, so can't blame the car for that. Right, so that was first test out of the way. Let's make it more in the Mini's favour, shall we? Just trying to think of what might be more beneficial for the Mini. I'm thinking a kart circuit, maybe. No, we can't do that. Let's see what else we got. There's a short-ish track with plenty of corners that the Mini has a fighting chance on. What have we got? What have we got? Monaco. Bathurst is just going to be too much straight. Yeah, Brands Indy, maybe. Cadwell, the Corvette will just destroy it around this section here. I think it'll just be too good for it. What else is there that might give it a chance? I think that's probably about it. Let's I think it's Monaco. So there we go. Let's see how the big Corvette handles Monaco compared to the Mini. I want to give the Mini a chance, you know. It's a fun car to drive, so I want it to be able to have at least some kind of a chance of racing this thing in a fair fight, rather than a I only beat you because you spun 12 times fight. I mean, it's such a nice, sleek-looking line of that car, isn't it? Just looking at the side profile of it there. It's, yeah, nice-looking car. Where are we plonked on the grid? Yeah, 21st. Nice. Okay. Here we go, then. 5 laps of Monaco, Minis versus Corvette and Lotus. Mini's got a good start. He's hassling the Corvette in front of us. Now we're quickly on the case of the Mini. Nice and easy into turn 1. Just going to go 3 wide because that's nice and easy. Sparks fly as the Corvettes graze the barriers. Are you going to use full throttle at any point, or shall I just use it for you? Here we go. I think the Corvettes are scared around here. Well, we may have found our opportunity for the Mini to be in the action. Oh, got squeezed. Now we can use our power, but we also have to turn at the same time, so who knows. Oop, there's the wall. Oop, there's a Mini stuck on the barrier on the inside. Avoid him. AI are struggling around here for some reason. We're up to P6 on lap 1. So AI needs adjusting for me, I reckon. But it's good to see at least. I know they may well have started in these orders, but there's more Minis at the front than there were last time. In fact, it's all Minis at the front. So I think the only way that we're going to find out if these cars are on par one with another is if we do a back-to-back test, which we shall do later on. But in the meantime, we're about to get ourselves P1 within a lap and a half. And the Corvette's handling Monaco reasonably well, even the really tight stuff. Yeah, that's in the wall. Okay, so we just destroyed the field in 1.5 laps. Okay, that could just be an AI issue, but good to see the minis are further up though, so with the right AI settings it may be okay. Imagine driving a Lotus 23 and seeing this thing in the mirrors. Yeah, you probably would try and push that pedal a little bit harder. You push it through the firewall. Right, okay, that's enough of that. Let's jump into the big brother, the race edition against the 911. We'll choose a different livery for this one. I reckon we'll go with this very much real livery inspired looking one here. I'll take that. And this time we don't really need to worry about getting a track which will suit a slower and a faster car in the straight line, because the Porsche is probably quite capable of keeping up, I reckon. So we'll find somewhere fun to drive. I wish we'd take it. Let's go to Imola. Let's try Imola. Excuse me. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yep, same class will do. And then yeah, we'll just jump into another 5-lap race for this and see how we get on driving this thing against the 911. So 911, when we drove that was the previous new release for Automobilista 2. Really liked it. It was a really nice car to drive. Challenging in its own way, but at the same time very rewarding, and also good kind of slip angles on the tyres. You could really just balance it through the corners on the throttle as well. And obviously being rear-engined, it would frequently overtake us when you get too much oversteer going on, but good fun to drive nonetheless. So this Corvette should be reasonably well matched, because this is more of the era that these two cars came from, the more where they should be in terms of car matching. So hopefully this should be good. So where are we on the grid? We've been thrown pretty much to the rear in our Corvette. So here we go. Can we survive 5 laps of Imola driving this thing with its massive clutch slip? Easy, easy guys. Whoa! We've got chaos. Red flag. Some freebies, and we'll just cut the corner there. No choice. See your brake lights ahead of me. Right. Having difficulties going through the slow stuff. We're right back with them. Also having difficulties getting out of the slow stuff. Forget, there's much more horsepower available, so you can't just slam the throttle. Alright, flying back up the hill again, up towards the tight chicane at the top here. Not been able to make any impressions since we had our free pass to 23rd position. Partly because the 911 is just ridiculously wide, and the Corvette is also ridiculously wide. I am pushing the brake pedal, honest. Ah! Okay. Got that place back. Mustn't change gear so fast, it doesn't like it. I do need a round rim with this car, you're right. This is not suited to a Formula style rim. And I didn't even dare look at the speedometer there to see what kind of speed we're doing into here, just knew that we needed to brake. Everything seems to happen in slow motion driving this car. Other than the straights. They go by very, very quickly indeed. So I kind of feel like I need first gear to get the rotation into these slower corners, but then I need the torque from second gear to launch off without just spinning the tyres and going nowhere. If I'm in second gear through there, as you can see, it just bogs right down and I got no drive. So I just have to be careful with the throttle, that's all I can think of. Being overtaken left, right and centre by 911s. The problem is you get out of a corner, you get the car rotated, and you instantly think, yes, I'm there, I can start accelerating, and then you start getting excited and you put the throttle down even further and you just go sideways. Turn. Yeah, it's lazy in the corners. But you can't say it's lazy on the straights. Look at the mirror wobbling inside the actual glass wobbling inside the housing there. That's pretty cool. Excellent build quality. First of all, it has that extra sturdy mount for the mirror to keep it in place. So in the mid-speed corners, this car is actually quite nice to just kind of let it flow. So like through here, for example, you can just turn it in and just let the throttle help the rear come round gently. It's just when you get into the slow speed stuff where it starts getting a little bit trickier. That was better out of there that time. Just a little bit more refinement, as it's just what I need in my upshifts. Too enthusiastic. Definitely mid-speed corners are the most pleasant to drive. Yeah, that's the technique. You just got to be really gentle when you put the throttle down. Just going to put it down to about 33% or so, to be precise, and then gradually just increase it from there rather than trying to get it on all at once. Challenged by another 911 behind me. Not just challenged, getting overtaken by another 911 behind me. So you can definitely tell the AI quicker in these cars. And forgot there's no fifth gear. But the cars in general are actually quite evenly matched, so you can have a pretty good race with them, which is nice. More so than you do with the standard version, where you're just really racing against the other Corvettes, really. Are you doing heel and toe? I do, yes. Not fully, but in general, yes. yeah, it's made easier by the pedals. We're using Fanatec V3s. Sometimes I get that bit right, sometimes I don't. But I think with something like this, you just gotta do the heel and toe, get the full experience. We're getting left for dead. We just don't have the pace of these guys around here. Just trying to balance everything, and then you yeah, like I said, you just get excited exiting the corners and you just put the throttle down too quickly. So just got to let everything breathe and just take your time with things. It's got to be slow with the upshifts. So I actually balance a little bit of heel and toe with left foot braking as well. So there I was heeling and toeing until I got towards the corner, and I kind of put my left foot on the brake just to try and help with the last minute bit of rotation. Probably not the correct way of doing it, but I find it works. Kind of swapping between the two at various points in the circuit. Well, we're still pretty much plumb last. I don't know where the other guy is, he's miles away. But nevertheless, good fun racing. And there we go, that's 5 laps in the bag straight away. Yeah, so the AI has got perfect throttle application out of corners, which yeah, would explain why they're so good off the hairpin. At the same time, it's a good challenge and good fun to do as well. So there we go. Oh, right, let's get the arm warmed up. Okay, so you can race the race spec Corvette quite nicely against the 911. That works really well. The standard spec one, not so much with the Mini and the Lotus, but we'll do a proper scientific test to see which one of these cars is quickest in class, and we'll do that. We'll go to a circuit which has some shortish laps on it, so that we can actually do a good number of laps and get some real numbers going here. So let's have a look. It's Brands Indy is probably as good as anything, isn't it? So we'll run that for some short bursts. So we'll take the Corvette first. We'll set its datum lap, and if the Mini and the Lotus can get anywhere near it, then fair play. But I just think the Corvette's going to be just too much for it. But who knows? I could be proven wrong. I have done in the past. So you never know. Right. Let's go. Now I'm going to say this actually. I think out of the two, I know this car is not ideally suited to racing. Actually, what I'm going to do, rather than doing it in that mode, I'm going to do it so it's controlled. I'm going to do in hot lap mode, so that it's got the same tyre temps and things. We're not having to warm tyres up and things. We'll just have a flying run at the lap. So we'll do it in time trial mode. Let's go find it. No, we're not driving the Caterham 620 this time. As much as I love that car. Right. Change the spec to brands. Indy. Go. So yeah, we'll drive this car and then we'll work our way down. So I think it's the Lotus next, then it'll be the Mini. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. What was I saying? Yeah, so I think out of the two, even though this one doesn't race as well with the other counterparts in its class, this is probably a nicer drive. Just because it's that little bit more raw and wallery and don't know, it's just fun. I'm sure I'll get used to the big boy Corvette at some point. So here we go, up towards Padigal Bend. Tipping it in, just about keeping it on track. Through the dirt up towards Druids. Not quite enough space to get up to third there, so we'll just leave it in second. Now we can go up to third. Probably demo brakes going through here. Yeah. Reasonably well balanced actually around here. Although it felt a little bit understeer around Silverstone. Around here, if anything, it's a little bit too oversteering. So that's good, we can control that. So first time on the board already, a 55.1. See how much quicker we can make it. I'm going to go to third and then back down to second. Funky, sorry, I just realised it was you that made that last comment. Welcome. It's so good to have so many of you guys watching as well. I mean, I really appreciate the interest you guys have in the videos we put out. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. That's not going to be a quicker lap time, is it? Okay, so we've done two very consistent laps there. 1:55.3, sorry, 55.17 and 1:3. So that's not too bad. We'll do a couple more just to see if we can improve that in any way, shape or form. Now it's going to be harder obviously in smaller increments to improve around here, being it's such a short lap. But who knows, we might be able to take a little bit of time off it. The laps didn't feel too bad, so we'll see if we can improve it any further, see if we can get a 54. That curb on the inside really helped pull us around. Ooh, bit deep into Druids. You needed all your concentration. Yeah, I did. Not a clean lap, but the middle sector was happier. It's in the green. It's going to be a 54.178. It's another consistent 55.1 lap time. Oh, just about kept us out of the gravel. car's really nice to drive actually, you can really chuck it around. I'm getting more used to it now. It's really nice to drive. And this is a big chunk of time improvement by the looks of things, if I can finish this off. Green all the way. And that's going to give us a lap of a 54.8, so we have broken into the 54s. Okay, I don't think there's going to be an awful lot in that for the time being. Let's swap cars and see if the Lotus can get anywhere near that. 54.8. I think it'd be really, really impressive if it does. Oh, we've jumped to the top of the timesheets. That's pleasant. There's an alarming amount of Corvettes at the top of that timesheet, but that's okay. We will we'll persevere in our test because we want to make sure this is going to be right. Looks like there's a lot of spikes sticking at the top of the Lotus there, but it's just the flags in the background. It's been shot at with arrows. Tyres are coping better in the British climate. Yes! They're not burning up in the California heat. Right. Of stark contrast, we're now sitting on the tarmac of Brands Hatch in Kent. In this little Lotus. Come on! Let's go quicker! Right, this is where we need to make it count. Do the corners. Yeah, definitely feels happier in the corners. So obviously we're going to have to take a couple of laps just to kind of get ourselves dialed into the car. Very different thing to drive, obviously. I think it's already on 50 seconds. 2, 3, 4. So we are going to be, on our first attempt, a good 6 seconds slower per lap. I know the first lap wasn't brilliant. I don't think I can find 6 seconds. Cut. 54.8 to beat, and it's not going to happen in this car, unfortunately. So I know we're going to be a long way off the pace, but let's just set ourselves a comparative lap time anyway, just so we can say we did it and we gave it our best. It's a little bit quicker through this time than our previous laps with this car, but still not going to be anywhere near the Corvette. So what's this time going to be? Driving for the line, and it's a 59.7. So yeah, we're a long way off. We're a long way off, and the Mini is going to be very much similar. because the two of them are usually pretty close, and I don't think it's going to be anywhere near. But we said we'll do it, so we're going to do it. So grab the Mini. Do a couple of laps of this just for the sake of it, because we said we would. But yeah, the Corvette is massively quicker than its competition, which, yeah, we shouldn't be too surprised about, I suppose. I mean, you're talking 300 horsepower versus 110 brake horsepower in the Mini. Right, come on, little Mini, let's see what you've got. The saving grace for this class, in some form or another, is you can still race the Mini. It just means you just have to set it up to that's not the line. You have to set it up to being same car rather than same class. Just means you can't race this car against the Lotus anymore. Without having the Corvettes ruining the party. Missed the shift and threw it off into the grass just for good luck. Javier, welcome along. Heard a Mr. Bean review would add 50 horsepower. Is that right? Well, I'm going to have to download one. You sit on the roof too. We made that happen. Better paddock hill bend. And unlike our stream last night, it is actually paddock hill bend rather than paddock non-hill bend. Lots of lift-off oversteer going on. Rear end's trying to come around on me on the brakes there. Trying to find some form of grip off clearways. So what's this going to be then? It's 1 minute, 0.0, so far the Lotus is quicker, but then it's probably still more time to find with this. Let's finish this lap off if it's going to be good. Second gear is pretty much redundant. Balance it on the way into clearways and then just feather the throttle to try and keep the front end in check, but also try and get the power down and then just kill it all by changing to fourth gear. So there should be a quicker lap time, and it is a 59.7, so yeah, as expected, very much on par with the Lotus, but nowhere near the same league as the Corvette. So there we go. If you want to be quick in the Touring Classics class, you've got to pick a Corvette. If you want to have fun in the GT Classic, on the Classic Touring Car class, pick any of them, to be honest. They're all good fun to drive. And my advice in these kind of cases is always pick a car that you like best. So if you're going to race these cars online, don't just go for the fastest one, because then you just get a grid full of Corvettes, and yeah, it can be fun, but you know, it's nice to have some variety, isn't it? So go with something that you really like driving. So if you really love driving the Mini, you drive the Mini. If you really love the Lotus 23, you drive that, because then it at least gives you enjoyment for doing the sim racing, and it gives everyone else a bit of variety on track as well, and it's not just a grid of Corvettes. That's my advice anyway. But Corvette, very nice, like it. Okay, so that's the Touring Classics class taken care of. Now is the big guns. We're going to start off in the 911 and then we'll move into the Corvettes. So we're just going to go down in order. So that's same again. Brands Indy, we've got a good target to aim for of the Nemesis here in the Porsche 911. See if we can get anywhere near that, and then see if the Corvette can take his crown. Probably not, but yeah, we've got to try these things, haven't we? So 911 first. So that lap time would have been set prior to the changes, I would have thought, which might make a bit of a difference in terms of how this car performs on track. So we've not driven this yet with this new update. We're not going to start off in 4th gear. Of course, yes, the light front end, which has the light steering. It's a little bit unnerving not having any kind of weight in the steering wheel, but we have enough to let us know what's going on. See the powering nicely out of Druids. This is a nicely balanced car. Good front end on it. And then just glided out of the corners and down the straights. So that's a 52. Straight out of the box, but obviously there's going to be more time on the table with that. So we aren't necessarily talking about how it compares to world records, because they're obviously set with potentially setups or spending lots of time in the car and absolutely extracting everything out of it. We're just going to base these lap times around what I can extract out of the car. So on a slightly quicker lap this time round, despite it being quite ragged actually. So plenty more in the tank by the looks of things. Very good. So we're up again on our time. Stutter going through clearways, but it's okay, we'll drive through it. So the 52.1, and we ended up being slower. Coming alive again now. It's maybe a little bit quicker. That is 0.2 quicker, so 51.8. I'm gonna leave it there for the time being. See how we do in the Corvette. So 51.8 to start us off with that one. So as expected, not as quick as the Nemesis, but that's fine. I know he's quick anyway. He's rapid. Okay, so that's 51.8 with the Porsche. Let's see what the Corvette can do Even that lap's put us 6 on the leaderboard. But I guess not many people would would take these cars around Brands Indy potentially. Just us mad lot. If I can really hope they continue to fill out this class, it could easily be my favourite with a couple more cars. Yeah, I mean it'd be good. I mean, what would be nice to put in there is maybe a Capri, like a 3-litre Capri. What else could they stick in this class? I'm trying to think back to GT Legends days. What kind of cars were in a similar class there? Brain's gone blank. I'm sure more will come to me. The Tomasos. I mean, okay. So a flat 6 Porsche engine, air-cooled engine. Sorry, not air-cooled. Non-turbo engine. Sounds amazing. When you jump in this, and it's instantly just like noise. This is so good. Right. So much a different experience driving this car compared to the Porsche. It doesn't turn for one. Okay. A wild first lap and 1:55. That's not going to be quicker with the wheel dip into the gravel. Okay, it's going to start that again because why not? So we're already a fair distance off for the Porsche. But it could well just be that this track is better suited to the 911. And even though we have got quite a few corners on here, there's still a good opportunity for the Corvette to stretch its legs. Even if it does mean running too deep into Paddock Hill. Slow down, Phil. Stop being so aggressive. Okay, this would take an awful lot of work to make it better for tight confines of Brands Indy. Just around a short circuit like this, it's just a series of one-armed saves. Yeah, I missed my braking point by the size of Essex, actually, by the size of Kent. Need to bring that back a little bit, I think. So far we haven't got a comparable lap time in, partly because I just haven't got it together just yet. No, I think the Cobra was in the older class, so it'd be with the C2 Corvette Stingray, the split window. I know in GT Legends at least the Porsche 906 was in with this lot, but that's not really comparable either. The Ford Escort was. What else was there? Oh, the BMW CSL, that's the other one. The 3-litre CSL. Could use one of those in here. They got the BMW license, so that'd be a logical car to add to this. And then we can have pro car style music whilst battling Corvettes and 911s. That'd be amazing. Still not getting the car stopped. The previous lap was a 54. It's about 3 seconds off the Porsche's pace so far. I don't think we're going to get much closer than that, to be honest. Not tonight, anyway. Okay. So that's not going to get anywhere near the Porsche around here. So what can we learn from this little 311? One, the Corvette in the lesser powered class is way too quick. The Corvette in the higher powered class is not as quick as the Porsche, so kind of a balance thing going on there, but yeah, that's fine. It's still a fun car to drive, and it's a very different experience in driving this car rather than the than the 911. I mean, if you were to tinker around in here for a little bit, obviously you could get the front end to be a little bit more responsive and a little happier going into some of these corners. But even so, you still got to. You're going from a baseline of 3 seconds off the 911 just to kind of get it up to the 911's baseline setup. But if you have it set up on the 911, that's just going to move it further ahead again. So I don't think there's going to be the opportunity to tune this car to the point where it's going to be in the same kind of class speed-wise, around Brands Indy anyway, than the 911. Take it to somewhere like Spa, it's probably going to be a completely different ball game altogether. But there we go. So that's just a quick little comparison of the two cars. So I reckon what we do now is we just throw all of them together in the mix and just do a multi-class race somewhere. Maybe we'll try Spa. Maybe we'll do that. So, although we've done a lot of running at Spa recently, I know we had the Grand Prix this weekend. Let's try somewhere else. What else we got? We can do. Let's do Hockenheim. Hockenheim's fun. So, opponent settings, we're going to go multi-class, both of them in there. That's good. Right, I'm just going to do a simple 5-lap race. You know what we're going to do? We'll do a 5-lap race around Hockenheim, and then we'll do the crazy thing afterwards. I had this idea that maybe we should introduce water to the equation, but we'll do that afterwards. We'll do an all-in for this one, and then we'll add rain and see if we can survive. So let's load in, do a quick one with this one. GSAM Dad, welcome along. The streetcar is... Oh, I can't quite read that writing behind, but I shall check on that in a moment. When it's loaded in, I should be able to read that better. Just position my overlay just in the wrong spot, so I can't quite read that. Right. It's just loading in. Right, so the streetcar is good for you. Okay, yep. And the racing version is a nightmare to handle. It is. It's a bit of a beast, isn't it? Really, to be honest, compared to the streetcar one, which is really nicely balanced, very enjoyable to drive. Right, we're placed 11th on the grid. We have. It has obviously separated us by class, which is probably the best situation for all involved. So here we go. 5 laps of Hockenheim, racing in the beast. Glad the other Corvettes are having just as much issue getting off the line as I am. And obviously the traction of the Porsche is going to be unrivaled with all that weight over the driven wheels. It's always going to take off much nicer. Oh, just that bang on the overrun. Sorry. I do love the upshifts when you get them right and you don't sound like you're slipping the clutch to death. It does sound incredible. So as we found at Imola, we don't have the pace of the class. Not yet. See if we can gain some time back through the twisty stuff. It's just a nice slow drift all the way around that right-hander. Very nice indeed. Let's see if we can replicate the same through here. Now we're going down to first gear. This is danger zone. Bit too much of a cut there, I think. We'll have to watch that next time around. But luckily we've only got 5 laps of racing. We have 5 cut warnings, so... Oh, that's so good. Yeah, but both are just so lovely and growly though. Yeah, proper American muscle, you're right. Got a great sound to them. Doing really good work actually in the audio department just recently. Riser Studios. There's been some good sounding race cars coming out of the studio. Oh yeah, speaking of nightmares, McLaren F1 LM street car is quite interesting to drive. It feels like it has drum brakes. Yeah, I think that's it does. It's a bit of a rocket ship, that thing. It's just I think it's just the pure speed that you're taking down the straights. The brakes just have no chance of keeping up with it. Trying to wash the speed off it. Well, we somehow managed to round up a 911. Oop! That wasn't in the plan. What's he braking there for? You have some work to do now. The F1 has oil tanker deceleration. At least it turns better than an oil tanker though. But when we did our comparison around Bathurst, we did every car in AMS2 around Bathurst. That McLaren was one of the surprises in terms of lap time ability. That last corner in this car, it's so good. It's caught one of the little grooves in the curb there. Understeer, oversteer and brake locking. F1 has it all. It is the complete car. But we are gaining time back. So we're not doing too badly. Still last in class, but we're gaining time back. They're having a bit of a dab of brakes through here, and I can see why. Yeah, so I'm going to reiterate what I felt with this car already, is that mid-speed corners, this car is sensational to drive. That wasn't great, but that was my own fault for going in there in third gear. But yeah, mid-speed corners, absolute delight, this thing. Having an itch going into a corner is never a good plan. You can just progressively apply that throttle on as you're going through that slide, and it just carries on sliding, but nicely. As long as you are progressive, that's the main thing. We're on the penultimate lap, but if we can at least get this Corvette before the end, then I will consider that successful. It's that AI throttle management getting the best of me again out of the hairpin. Helps, we're right up with them again. So we can shove it on the inside for the Sachs curve. Oh, just about. Let's fill the road with the rear end as we come out of the corner, just to make sure we have that pass completed, which we do. And then instantly hand it back to him. That's why I love MS2. So many easy to drive prototypes, GTs and open wheelers. Also crazy old machines with wobbles, bumps and speed 20 years ahead of their handling capabilities. I'll take the track limit warning. We're having a battle. Yes, all about power. We'll think about handling later. It's a way to get some movement in a frozen shoulder. Let's drive one of these with the wrong arm. That'll soon get things moving. I don't care that we're not up at the front in this race, because just holding this thing around is just so satisfying. Just use the camber there to kind of get the car in, but then not take too much speed in. Big sideways to finish the race. And a huge clutch slip just to finish it off. There we go. Well, we weren't last. We got our target of getting that other Corvette before the end. Just that one little moment going through that fast right-hander, which put paid to the rest of our hopes of that race, but that's okay. Right. Copa trucks and Spa was a nice combo. Only 3 usable gears and 1 lap took forever. Still fun. That's what I love. You see, you can get to do these mad combos in AMS2. We've done a few streams of those combos before now. One in particular that stuck out that worked really well was GTE and F3 around Spa. Sorry, not Spa, Imola. That was a brilliant race. So fun. Okay, so that's the Corvette and everything in the dry. We didn't really see much of the other class because the track was too long. So what happens then when you go to Donington Park in the UK in the height of the British summer and you're faced with a thunderstorm? Because that's what happens. Can you get the Chevrolet Corvette to finish the race? Let's have a go, shall we? We'll go single class for this one. We don't need the slower cars on this one. Although it might give the minis a chance. Who knows? We might put them back on again. Oh dear, full of hiccups tonight. Right. So we're going to be wet, and we're in a car with far too much horsepower for its own good, and not great tyres, I don't think, for clearing wet weather. Lots of moisture on the track, so I think if we can get out of first gear safely. Oh goodness. Okay, so we're in P11. Let's see how we get on. We're away. All we can see is rear lights, which is more than you could see at Spa. Aim for the corner on the inside here somewhere. So far, not doing too badly. And a lock-up going into the old hairpins, tiptoeing through here. Aha, so we may have just found that in the wet we can compete with the AI for their throttle response. Compass is coming up somewhere. There it is. It's hard to see in the clear of the day, let alone with spray. I forgot, are we on the national circuit or the Grand Prix circuit? I forgot to select it. Brake lights coming on early, and the car's going right, so we're on the national circuit. We're making places. We're losing places. Just gonna put my boat down the inside if you don't mind. Well, to be fair, it's not as dangerous as I was expecting it to be. If anything, it helps the rotation just a little bit more. Just because the car's moving around constantly anyway. A little bit of a nudge on the back of the 911. Thunder strike in front of us, or lightning strike. Again. Very active thunderstorm, this one. Nice big slide all the way through Coppice Corner. I struggle with the trucks. You keep getting distracted with your unwrapping of your Yorkie bar. Too much time on your hands. You're told Donington have a hire a full-time team to put those floppy markers back up again. Wouldn't be surprised. Oh, sorry. Yes, they don't last very long, and they are very keen on replacing them, despite being wiped out in pretty much every single race. It's time to get a little bit more of a clear road ahead of us here. Yep, that was rail driving with the floppy markers into the old head, and some more there. Surprisingly, not too bad to drive in the wet. Coppers is one of the best places to shoot. Ah, you're a photographer, are you, Rubbish Racer? Yeah, it's very difficult, unless you've got a particularly long lens, to get any decent close-up shots around here, especially if you're looking at the crane of curves. The track's got a long way away from the safety of the barriers, so oops, boing. Bit of room on the inside there. Yeah, so with Coppice Corner, obviously, if you presumably you're going to be positioning yourself on the outside of the circuit, looking over the top of the hill as the cars come up towards you, and then looking down towards McLean's. Getting some puddles up here on the track now, which is going to make things interesting. Especially if you're quite heavily on the throttle. GSlev1 on Instagram. Okay, I'll go check you out. No, I'm off again. Yeah, you probably can get by with a 70 to 300. But then I only have a 250, so almost. You can, yeah, you're right, you can get by it. Well, we've gone to the front and then back again in this one. But it's actually been a pretty decent race, actually. A bit rough at times, but slithering around in the wet can often make that happen. Cars wobbling around all over the place. Floating away. Avoid that puddle. We're back in the lead. My last lap as well. Yeah, so you can shoot from the inside at Coppice with a 50mm. Yeah, you probably could. I've missed my braking point once again. It's just kind of cut off the vinyl chicane. Well, there we have it. You can survive a race in the rain in the mighty Corvette. Oh, well, that was quite involved. But fun nonetheless. So there we go. So that's our little look at the new Corvettes for AMS2. So wrapping up then, cars themselves. So model-wise, you know, can't really fault it, can you? It's just it's just art, isn't it? So yeah, nicely made models. The leaf spring across the back. I'm pointing at the screen, but you can't see where I'm pointing. But yeah, they've got the leaf spring hanging down at the back across the axle there. So very primitive technology going on, but yeah, fun to drive. Anyway, this one on the slicks, the big side pipes on it. Very nice indeed. Sounds wise for both the cars, again, top notch. Really good stuff going on there, and some good work being done by the guys in Riser within the sound department. So very nice indeed. Driving wise, so yeah, as mentioned, the classic, the street version is probably a pick of the bunch in terms of driving fun, really. Just because you're rolling around a little bit more and you can really slide it around a bit. But getting used to that race version just at the end there, you can do pretty much the same stuff there. It's just a little more leery, really. But yeah, so overall a good addition to AMS2, well worth having in the content roster. As far as racing is concerned, the race car, this one and the 911, yeah, you can have a good battle with them, and that's great. Yeah, there's some good competition going on there. It doesn't fit in the touring classics class or category. It's really just a one-horse race in there now with the Corvette, but nonetheless, good fun anyway. So as far as the other things which were released on the update, I believe there's several changes to how the throttle mapping works on certain cars, I think from memory. But yeah, that kind of covers a very wide range of things, so that would probably hopefully help with making the throttle a little bit more responsive through the corners. I think some cars were getting a bit of lag. Yeah, no, it's overall another good update to AMS2, and it's good to see the title is moving forward in terms of its content and also the drivability of the cars as well. They're not just kind of leaving the stuff that they've had out in the title for a long time and just saying, okay, that's good and done. They're still improving everything as they go, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, GSM exactly right. So bearing in mind that these have been provided for free, we're getting all these extra cars and things thrown in for free out of the good of their hearts. So yeah, good job by all the guys and girls at Riser Studios. So excellent work. Well, that kind of summarises our live stream action for this evening. I hope you've enjoyed that. We've been on 2 nights in a row. We've had a good run of streams. Not sure if there's going to be a stream this coming Saturday, but if there isn't, there will definitely be a video in case. But we'll be releasing something one way or another, whether it's live or pre-recorded, this coming Saturday. But if you've enjoyed the review that we've been doing this evening and you've had fun watching us throw these muscle cars around tracks in some form or fashion, please do hit the like button. It's great for the channel. And if you are new here, you're very welcome to join us, and it's been great to have you with us, and thank you for your comments and everything today. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We're growing slowly. We're doing what we can, and we're getting content out for you guys, and hopefully you're enjoying it. That's the main thing. But it's good to know that you guys enjoy it, because obviously you do, because some of you come back, so you must like what we do. But really appreciate you guys for joining us this evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. But until next time, whenever that may be, stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon indeed. Bye-bye for now.